Good morning, everybody. I'm Melissa with Practically Creative, and I have guests here with me today. I have Miss Sylvia from You and Me FPP and Coleen from Coleen Sews and Chats. And we're going to each show you a little quick project today that you can use in whatever items that you're making for the fall or for the holidays. So we're going to start with Sylvia. Let her introduce herself and show her project.
Hi everyone. Hopefully you all know who I am. So I'm using up all the little bits of cotton that I've cut off the back of when I've finished doing all my hand sewing, and they're called orts, and that's all these little tiny background pieces, which I've used a square of fabric, and I've used heat and bond and then stuck them down, and then used a bit of shawl over the top to secure it, and then I've just done some stitching to hold it all down, hold the backing and the front together, and now I'm just adding decorations onto it to liven it up, and I've got a couple that I'm planning on making while we chat. So that's what I'm doing today.
Those little flowers, are they a purchase notion or something you sewed?
The purple, these ones.
Yes.
They were ones that came in a box of goodies that I got from Susie Q Makes. I put a video up of a happy mail that I got from Susie Q Makes, and they were in the box.
I did see that. And then the little sequin flowers were in there too?
The background bits of the flower were also in there. They came in a bag. I've got a whole bag of them, different ones. So they came in as well. But the beads are just an assorted box of beads that I've got. The lace came in the box as well, and the little tiny ribbon came in a bag of ribbons that were also in the box. And it also got these cherries that came on a long ribbon of them, which I'm going to sew on that one. Yeah.
Those are really cute. What will you use those for? Will you embellish a quilt or a bag or something?
Well, I've been doing that 4-inch swap where I've been getting the blocks come through. This was one that I received this week from somebody.
Oh, that is pretty.
It is pretty, isn't it? I love the feathers on it. And so I'm making these along the same sort of lines because I thought I could join them into my quilt and add them in. So there's a part of me as well as a part of everybody else in there as well.
And all of that is hand stitching, no machine.
Yeah, no, it's all hand stitched. I've never saved all these bits that you cut off when you finish sewing. I've never saved them before. I've always just thrown them away. And then say that I saw on Susie Q Makes, I saw her doing something with them. She was actually making flowers out of hers because once she'd sort of ironed them all down, she cut out the shape of a flower on hers and then blanket stitched all around the edge to make the flower. I thought they'd look quite good because they're the threads that I've used to make all the ones that I've sent out.
I really like that. That's gorgeous.
Very creative too.
Yeah.
Using everything.
I'm a scrap sewer, but I would have never thought of doing all that. That's awesome.
Well, I've been throwing all mine away up until recently. And it's only when I saw this video of hers showing what she did with them, and I thought, that's a good idea. I might start saving mine. And that was just like a couple of days worth of all the ends that I'd chopped off when I'd finished. When you can't sew anymore because your cotton's too short, but you just chop it off, and yeah. Yep, so that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. Very awesome.
Cute.
And then Coleen has got a follow-up to the towel video that we were doing last month. I'm going to let her explain that.
Yes, I do. This morning I was working on some more towels because I've got towels to make and I haven't done anything in a couple weeks, but try to quilt that. You can't see it, but those little people are outlined with a light green thread that, although it's not glow in the dark, it kind of looks like it.
Is it a
I need to
metallic
close with
that
that,
you're
but
using?
I needed a break from that, and these are what, Sylvia?
No, I think it was Melissa that
Oh,
asked.
Melissa?
Is that a metallic thread that you're using, the green?
No, it's just shiny. It's shiny. It's from Missouri Star Buds. Let's see what this is. Polyester quilting thread, size 40, split pea.
Ooh,
A
that's
nice
color.
colour.
I like it.
Mm.
And I was wondering what I was going to use this green thread for. I got it to match some fabrics I had, and then I didn't want to use it on the fabric, so I like it on the quilting.
I bet it works perfectly
But
on that.
these are a very fast, easy sew to sell to update your own kitchen. And I have not used directional fabric until today because I'm a coward. I like it easy. So I hadn't used directional fabric. I'd used 2 different fabrics. And for directional fabric, all you do, simple. Now one side is going to be upside down unless you cut it and turn it. I'm not doing that. I'm using one piece of fabric. See this? It's right side up.
Yep.
Right side up. Right side of your towel out like you're making the burrito. All you do is line those up. So both of them are right side up. And that, let's see if I can get this. When you roll this up, pull that over here. And when
it's
it
right
turns
sides
out,
together on that outside fabric, right? When you burrito it,
when you burrito it what?
it right now the right sides are together on the cow fabric. Is that right?
Right. Well, no, the wrong side of the towel. Hang on a second. The wrong side of the towel is
Okay.
against the right side of the fabric when you start. Then when you roll this up to make the burrito, the right side of the towel will be to the right side of the fabric that's on the top, right side.
Okay, I get it.
That makes sense. So if your
Yeah.
if your topper fabric is directional, right side up, you put it with right side of the towel out and the raw edge. Right side's out, raw edge up. I had to look at this 3 or 4 times this morning before I got that. Luckily, I didn't sew it wrong. But it
That's
did
what
come
I'm
out.
doing is I'm trying to.
That's so cute, that fabric.
Yeah, I love that cow fabric.
Mm.
The band.
Me
But
too.
the flower sock towels, they're a little bit different because they're sized a little bit different. So I made my pleats small, and the last one, I just folded it over and took the first where I started the first pleat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm.
So this is smaller than what I started. Than I think it's almost 7 inches if you do the pleats the way I originally showed. So everything's a learning experience.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not using, what did I use? Flannel. I'm not using flannel or interfacing on these. I just took a piece of muslin, doubled it over for the thickness, stitch and flipped it, and that's for the straps. But I like this, you probably can't tell, this has a little bit of beige in it. And that's why I chose these towels. I thought I was going to use the gray towels, but they didn't look right.
Oh.
That's what I'm doing. And you can always make pot holders out of, well, you could use the flour sack towel. I got these off of Amazon,
That's pretty.
big bunch. You could always make pot holders to match. You could make a casserole holder. That's what I was trying to think of to match.
And a Lori Holt
what I think.
casserole holder floating around here I need to make.
Oh,
You can make a set then, can't you? We can have a set of the like.
That would be
How-
a great housewarming gift or Christmas.
Yeah, wouldn't
gift.
it?
yeah.
Make a set of all different ones. Yeah.
I was wanting to get some cow fabric, just cows, or some black and white, because one of my son's girlfriends like that, and I thought that would make an adorable set for her.
Oh yeah.
That's what she was. I was like, I could do that. I need to find the fabric for it.
Mm.
Shouldn't be too hard. I've looked. I can find it. I know my local store will have what I'm looking for. Very farmy around here.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm going to show, I guess, how to do the freezer paper thing. And the first question I always get from everybody is, what do you use? Now, hopefully this will turn this around so you guys can read it. This is Reynolds freezer paper. This is unless you are just really into freezer paper applique, this is a lifetime supply box. It's at Walmart. It's on the shelf. I know not everybody has Walmart around the world, but for us, it's on the bottom shelf on the aisle where paper plates and picnic supplies are. And if you can find a smaller roll of it, go ahead. But I think this one, 150 square feet, I think I paid $5 or $6 for this when I bought it. And I've had this box for, well, you can tell the box is starting to disintegrate. I've had it for at least 5 or 6 years. And it has a little cutting edge, and you don't need much. I'm just going to take and rip a little piece off of here, pardon the noise. And where I'm chintzy and jealous of the heat and bond and all that, this piece right here, if I only use a quarter of it, I don't care. It's not a big deal. You're not going to lose a whole lot.
Melissa, could you spotlight you so we can see you bigger?
Yeah, I'm going to move over to the other camera and then I'll spotlight me so that you guys can all see this as up close and personal as possible. There's my little
Look
table
at you,
that I'm
techie,
working
go.
on. Oh yeah, I was trying to make sure I had it as efficient as possible. All right, and this is just about as simple as it can get here. What I'm going to do, as you can tell, I printed out my leaf, and I printed my leaf out really big, not because I want it that big on my project, but because I wanted you guys to be able to see what I was doing. And there we go. You guys can see it now. But all I'm going to do here is I'm going to take, and I don't really care about the stem so much, but I'm just going to take and roughly trace my leaf onto my freezer paper, and I'm tracing onto the matte side of this. And you could do this with any drawing you want if you're artistic, which I'm not. As you can tell, I can barely draw these lines tracing them. But if you're artistic, you could draw something on your freezer paper and then use the freezer paper to transfer it over to whatever you want. And I'll give it a little. So there's my leaf. And then all I'm going to do with the leaf, I didn't even hurt my piece of paper. Don't tell the scissor police that I just used my scissors to cut paper. I'm going to use this yellow here.
No, we're going to be shunned now. Melissa's using
What?
her good scissors. We're going to be shunned now. Melissa's using her good scissors. on freezer paper.
Yeah, for sure. Now on freezer paper, there is a shiny side, which hopefully you can see that in the camera.
Oh, I see it.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a shiny side and a flat side. I'm going to iron the shiny side just really quickly down to my fabric as soon as my iron heats up enough. It went off while we were chit-chatting.
Is that the right side or the wrong side of your fabric?
I am on the right side of my fabric. Oh,
It's a batik though.
that fabric is darker.
Yeah.
It's a batik. And with batiks, you can choose which side you want.
Yeah.
And because this is, you know, fairly small, you can kind of arrange. I mean, you could do it on the bias, you could do it however you like. But I'm just going to quickly iron mine down here.
And you know, like you were telling me about the batiks I got from Walmart, the other side is kind of lighter. So if you did the dark side on one and the light side on the other, you'd have a contrast.
Right.
Perfectly matched. Nice.
And so, I mean, it's not, you know, permanently adhesed, but it's attached enough. And I'm going to just going to rough cut this out of the fabric. Move my fabric aside. And then I'm going to go around and it's still together. That little bit of wax that's on the back of the freezer paper has put it together. And this is why I did something big, because I figured we'd be able to cut it out really quick. Am I still in camera view for you guys?
Yeah.
I've done this before with flower coloring pages, all kinds of different things. And I've also done something similar to this with my Cricut, my brother's scan and cut. There's a lot of different ways to create applique. But I'm not the world's best artist. And when I see a coloring page that has a good picture on it, I'm like, oh yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, I've not seen that Reynolds paper in the UK as on a roll. You can get it on Amazon, but it's really expensive. So whether they have to ship it in, which is why it's more expensive, I don't know. But I bought some in A4 sheets, which was really reasonable. So they can actually go through the printer because they're on the A4 sheets.
I was going to ask about that.
Oh yeah. Well, you can actually attach, I think you can only do it with inkjet printers and not with lasers, because inkjets don't get super hot, lasers do, I think, or vice versa.
Yeah.
But you could do it with a printer and actually print on the fabric if you used freezer paper as a backing for it. That's a little more advanced than what I'm doing today. And I have done it, and I know that, did Lisa Capon do that, Sylvia?
Yeah, she did. I've seen Lisa Capon do it. I've never tried it because I don't think I can feed from the back of my printer. So it has to draw it from underneath, and I don't know whether it would draw the freezer paper and the fabric from underneath.
When it turns it up to go through, that's how mine does too.
Right.
Yeah. So if I could feed it from the back, it might be better. You'd probably be able to do it. So I've never tried to
put this on anything that you want to. I'm just gonna pull another little piece of scrap fabric out here. And I think that the easiest way to adhere this is to actually put just a little bit of glue on the back of the fabric. I haven't used the Coleens yet, so. My regular glue. Glue stick to the rescue.
Yeah, that's what I use, the Elmer glue stick.
Yeah, I like glue stick better. I was looking at bottles. That's why I've got that Aleene's. Is because I was looking to see if the little needle nose on the bottles would be easier for doing glue with.
Mm.
Then all I'm doing is I'm ironing down that glue. I got to give it a second to cool off. It's too hot. Still trying to make sure it's all where you guys can see it.
Move your mat towards your machine a little bit. There you go.
Is that better?
Thank you.
Yep.
I was trying to figure out a direction without saying a direction. Left, right.
Yeah. I was
That's
trying to
hard
work out whether
because-
it was move it to the right.
This is my hands, not the. There's my pen goal. This is almost as fun as trying to start the paper coming off of the back of Heat and Bond.
Oh, I did not enjoy that.
Well, I had you two separated. What are you doing?
I see, this is kind of what I was thinking for the bands. A small version. I'm trying to figure out how to do the small version of that leaf, but it's going to be washed a lot. I'd like to use the Heat and Bond that you don't sew through, but I'm worried it's going to come off in the washing.
I'm always a little wary of that no sew Heat and Bond,
Mm-hmm.
especially on something that's going to be washed a lot, like a kitchen towel.
Yeah.
But the beauty of this, if it'll come apart,
Because that 2 inches that you have on those bands, I mean, you could make it a little bit wider. You could make it 2.5 inches, I think, and it'd still work fine. I've done wider bands, but still, that's not a lot of that. You can't put anything real big on it.
right?
But you
But
could tell.
you could easily do something on that band, like create your band. I put too much glue on. Here's what happened. So
Oh, it go through to your paper.
yeah. So it glued my fabric to the freezer paper, but there's still enough wax on the back of this that I could actually iron this down to another piece of fabric and use the exact same pattern to make another leaf.
That is so pretty.
Yeah, I think that I've used them as much as 4 times, but you can't go as hot as I did. You only need it like on a low iron. I did a high iron, but that's down, and I could go around this now. I could do a blanket stitch around it, a satin stitch, a straight stitch, whatever I wanted to. And I've still got my original pattern so that I could go back and cut out another pattern if I wanted to very easily and do another 3 or 4. This would be great if you wanted to do something like that elephant that shoots the hearts out of its nose for the quilt project.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great for something like that. And then that's just freezer paper applique. And then you stitch it however you like on your regular sewing machine. I'm going to switch cameras again.
Good girl.
Getting back. Come back up here so you guys could see me and then take the spotlight off. But I mean, you could do a whole quilt in just leaves if that's what you wanted to do.
I love that.
You could do them smaller leaves on those bands though, Coleen, easy enough, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, you could. And the beauty of printing out something off the internet is that you can go in and make it as big or as small as you like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just printed this as the full. It's a US letter. So, you know, it's a 8.5 by 11 page.
Mm.
Mhm.
But there are all kinds of coloring pages that you could use, even some that have a variety of leaves. So if you wanted to, you could cut out all kinds of different kinds of leaves to put on something.
Yeah.
On a quilt.
I'm just thinking, I wonder if I could find a pig like that.
You could trace that pig right there onto a piece of paper or onto freezer paper.
Yeah.
And put it on the center of the band, or put a couple of them on.
Yeah.
And what you could actually do with that pig is, if you have a little scrap of the fabric, add a piece of heat and bond to the light, cut out the pig, and then put it on your fabric. You wouldn't even have to print it or cut it out, except for when you're getting ready to put it on.
These are so fast and easy to make. Doing that little bit wouldn't really take that long either.
And you could actually.
Colleen's just had a light bulb moment.
I have.
And
you just saw the light bulb go
onto paper, and then scanned it into your computer or your phone. You could make that pig bigger or smaller, and you could put a little pig down in the corner of your towel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just put it on the corner of your towel as a little decorative item. See, all kinds of ideas.
My head is going. See, I hear you talk about the freezer paper applique and things like that, but it was not connecting in my head until just now.
Well, that's why, even though I have the scan and cut and the embroidery machine, I still like to do other patterns that I don't necessarily have. And I don't always want to break out a cutting machine just to cut out one or two items to put on a towel. You know, I could take and put the little petals from a Dresden around with some freezer paper and cut those out on scraps, put them on the front of a tote bag, put them on a towel, put them on anything. You don't need to talk to me, whoever you are. But yeah, I mean, you could do a whole lot of things with freezer paper applique that don't have anything at all to do with a cutting machine.
And I wouldn't have to use the freezer paper though. I could use the same paper I use for FPP and just use it as a template on top of it, and then the template is thrown away. It's not like the freezer paper, it's going to be reused several times the way that I think in my head it could work.
Well, yeah, the only real advantage to freezer paper over regular paper is that you can iron that freezer paper down onto your fabric, and you don't have to pin it or clip it or put glue on it. And you can
it's not going to move,
on the back side of a piece of fabric if you needed to. Because you don't always have to take your FPP paper out, depending on what you're doing. I mean, you could do all kinds of things. The whole idea isn't do the project exactly the way I'm doing it. It's here's an idea, take it and run with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what all three of us brought here today.
Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, how can I make it work without the freezer paper or with the freezer paper if I ever get, you know, it ordered. It'll probably be on my, I think it is on in my basket at Amazon from the last time you showed it. But that's been a year ago.
It's cheaper at Walmart than it is at Amazon.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me that.
Because like I said, I think I paid $5 or $6 for this, and the last time I looked for it on Amazon, which has been probably about a year, it was like $13 or $14 for the box, which isn't super expensive for what you can use it for.
Yeah.
But if I can get it for half that price at Walmart, why not?
Yeah.
Now, for Sylvia, that's not going to work because I don't think they have Walmart in the UK.
But I like those sheets.
I only know of one Walmart, and that's down in Somerset, so it's like miles and miles and miles.
It's like us going to IKEA. They're only in like one major city for every 1,000 miles or something.
But the sheets that you ordered, Sylvia, you said you can use those in the printer, right?
Yeah.
I think I would like that.
Yeah, you could you just put it in. I mean, my printer paper, my printer takes the paper and flips it. So you have to you'll have to put it in shiny side up so that it prints onto the non-shiny side of the.
I have a cheater piece of paper that says this side, top and out, and then I run it through the printer to get on this side, bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I cannot tell you how many times I have printed labels wrong, and the labels come on as sticky, so they're not on the sticky side.
Those Avery labels are a pain. I always had a piece of paper for that reason. Like, I would always run it through the printer. My boss is like, "What are you doing?" Like making sure everything's where I want it.
I've saved it and I've put it on the top of those labels. So every time I make a label now, I know where it's going to print. But
Exactly
same thing
right.
with the
Yeah.
freezer paper.
I think
Yeah, I do that. I put a cross.
those sheets like Sylvia was talking about.
Yeah, I put a cross in the corner of the paper and watch which side it comes out.
So glad it's not just me.
No.
Oh no,
Not just
that's actually a great idea if you're, tech challenged like I am. I was gonna say like we
A
are.
challenge.
That blue light coming from?
I get directions. I don't. So what is the light behind your head? Is there a light back there? Or is it just a reflection?
There's a light back there, and I need to move it over to the other side of my room.
I think that's what's causing the blue light. Because
It
when
might
you block,
be. It might be. So let me just like casually lean over here and obliterate that light. It just puts my face in the dark. There you go.
no more blue light on your face.
That's right.
Take
I
that.
think that's from the camera thing. But the camera is actually pretty good. I just need to figure out the light again now. But that's always the thing, right? Trying to figure out where everything's supposed to go to work.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm glad we got to catch up today. I'm going to start wrapping this up unless there's anything else you guys want to show today.
Nope.
Quick
I'm good.
creator catch up for us this month. We'll do another next month. And I can't wait to see videos from you guys on the projects you're working on. And you guys, as the audience, I hope you guys will come back next month and see what kind of tips and tricks we've come up with for you next month. Thank you for watching. Everybody have a great day. Bye, Sylvia. Bye, Coleen.
Bye.
Bye, ladies.
All right, I'm ending this.